Charity lies again to protect Sarah in Emmerdale. If Charity Dingle needs to come up with another false story to shield Sarah Sugden in Emmerdale, she is prepared to do exactly that. Sarah killed Dr Caitlin Todd just days ago. She arrived during a heated confrontation between Caitlin and Charity and pushed the ruthless doctor while trying to protect herself and her grandmother. Caitlin lost her balance, struck her head against a table, and died from the impact. Soon after the incident, Serena Sugden helped Sarah and Charity invent a cover story to conceal what had really happened. DS Ramsden later arrived and took Charity away for questioning after Charity claimed that she had killed Caitlin. Charity was released the following day. When she returned to the Woolpack with Sarah, their worried relatives immediately began asking questions. Dingle was especially doubtful because he knew Charity would not normally contact the emergency services if she had actually done something terrible. Under intense pressure, Charity eventually told her family that Dr. Todd had sexually assaulted her. The shocking revelation left everyone speechless, but Mackenzie Boyd remained outside and was convinced that his partner was concealing another secret. Charity pushed Mackenzie away and admitted that she had expected her husband to stand by her. However, Mackenzie could not shake the doubts he had about Charity. In the latest episode, he told her that he had worked out what he believed had happened. He then accused Charity of deliberately killing Dr. Todd. Relieved that Mackenzie had not discovered the real story, Charity pretended to confess and told him that his suspicions were correct and that she had murdered Caitlin. Later, Mackenzie confronted Sarah and claimed that he knew the truth about Dr. Todd's death. Sarah stayed silent, determined not to reveal anything. When Sarah realized that Mackenzie had reached the wrong conclusion, she listened as he warned her to keep her composure. He explained that the police could notice her suspicious behavior and eventually realize that she was hiding something. It certainly seems only a matter of time before the truth comes to light. Charity is struggling to cope, Sarah is increasingly nervous, and DS Ramsden remains convinced that the pair are not telling the truth about Caitlin's death. So, how much longer can Charity and Sarah keep their secret hidden? Jo sets a trap for Dawn that could destroy her Emmerdale escape plan. Like many brides-to-be, Dawn is excited about her upcoming wedding day. However, unlike most newlyweds, she is secretly preparing to run away with the man she truly loves, Billy Fletcher, and take her heartbroken husband's unborn child with her to another country. Their plan might have worked if Jo had not been strongly suspected of being behind the brutal attack on Billy at the factory. Billy himself is convinced that Jo was responsible. After a private conversation with her former partner at his hospital bedside, Dawn has also started to believe that Jo was behind the assault. When Billy was taken to hospital following the vicious attack, suspicion quickly fell on Joe Tate. DS Byron soon arrested him and took him into custody. Caleb Milligan and Kerry Wyatt already knew that Joe had discovered Billy had attempted to kiss Dawn, giving him a possible motive for wanting revenge. However, Joe managed to avoid serious consequences because investigators could not find enough proof linking him to the attack that left Billy in a coma. The situation was made even more complicated by Ruby Fox Milligan, who secretly erased the CCTV footage in an attempt to ensure Joe would be blamed for what happened. During an emotional conversation at Billy's bedside last week, Dawn finally accepted that Joe was never going to become a better person. She realized that escaping his influence might be impossible. Billy, however, offered her another way out. He suggested that the pair leave the village together and build a fresh life overseas, far away from Joe. But upcoming episodes will reveal that Dawn and Billy have seriously underestimated Joe's ability to stay one step ahead. While Joe heads off for his stag celebration, he has no idea that Dawn and Billy are preparing to disappear using fake passports. The couple tell Clemmy that they are simply going away on holiday, but their plans are interrupted when Graham catches up with them. They are taken to a field where Joe has abandoned his original stag plans and organised a surprise sten-do celebration for the group. As everyone gets ready for a clay pigeon shooting session, Billy and Dawn become increasingly nervous and suspicious. With Caleb unable to contact them and the atmosphere becoming more uncomfortable, Dawn eventually steps forward and prepares to take her shot. But as she raises the gun, her aim begins to move toward Joe. Billy watches in horror, suddenly fearing that Dawn may be capable of doing something far more dangerous than he ever imagined. Jimmy's future falls apart in cruel twist as Emmerdale tragedy looms. Jimmy is already struggling in his personal life, with his marriage to Nicola becoming increasingly strained. She has accused him of being unfaithful and complained that he seems to have very little romance left in him. Now, however, another major blow is about to hit him, and this time it could affect his entire future. It has already been confirmed that Jimmy will be leaving Emmerdale in tragic circumstances, and the collapse of his business could be the beginning of the end for the much-loved character. Nicola soon realizes that the B&B is performing badly and puts pressure on Jimmy to make the haulage business more successful. Jimmy manages to secure a potentially lucrative new contract, giving them hope that the extra money could help rescue their finances. Unfortunately for Jimmy, Ruby and Caleb have already started plotting against him. Ruby decides to interfere with Jimmy's latest business opportunity by forcing Kev Townsend to carry out a job for her. She has evidence proving that Kev was involved in the attack on Billy Fletcher and left him in a critical condition. If Ruby hands the evidence to the authorities, Kev could face a return to prison. With Ruby holding such damaging information over him, Kev has little choice but to follow her instructions. The situation becomes even more uncomfortable because Jimmy is Nicola's husband, while Kev is also trying to repair his own relationship with Nicola because of his connection to her son. Kev is eventually pushed into carrying out Ruby's plan, but he is furious when he discovers exactly what he has been ordered to steal. Instead of taking something valuable, Kev ends up stealing an entire shipment of nappies, around 3,000 of them. The bizarre theft leaves Kev in an impossible position. He has damaged the interests of people he is desperately trying to impress while gaining absolutely nothing for himself. The real scheme, however, is even more calculated. Ruby and Caleb intend to make it appear as though Jimmy is still receiving a normal income from the new arrangement. Jimmy receives a large payment connected to the deal, but the paperwork is secretly placed under Caleb's name. This allows Jimmy to continue receiving what appears to be a regular wage, while keeping the real details hidden from Nicola. On the surface, everything could look perfectly normal to Nicola. Behind the scenes, however, Jimmy is being completely manipulated. Once Nicola eventually discovers what has been happening, she could feel completely betrayed. After already questioning her marriage and becoming increasingly frustrated with Jimmy, learning that he has been caught up in another secret could push her over the edge. Could Nicola's anger eventually lead to a devastating confrontation with Jimmy? Could a furious argument between the couple accidentally result in Jimmy suffering a fatal fate? There is also another possibility that could make the storyline even darker. With his business under threat, his marriage falling apart, and his entire life becoming increasingly unstable, Jimmy could reach a breaking point of his own. The pressure may become too much for him to handle, leaving him facing an extremely tragic decision. Whatever happens, it seems Jimmy's troubles are only beginning. His business is being deliberately sabotaged, his relationship with Nicola is hanging by a thread, and people around him are secretly working against him. Could all of these problems ultimately lead to Jimmy's heartbreaking exit from Emmerdale? And when the truth finally comes out, will Nicola realize just how badly Jimmy's life had already fallen apart before it was too late? Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available to stream from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.